Generally, what do you make of what has been playing out since Monday? And secondly, what the responses of government and the state agencies have been? Would you say that they have been satisfactory?
Good morning to our viewers. And my condolences to the families that have lost their members and people who have lost property, people who have lost money, buildings. It's not an easy situation. Yesterday I heard Mr. Jantua saying that he's left with one shoe. And you might find it funny, but it is not. When you wake up and there's water in your house. And that is the situation some of our citizens woke up to on Monday morning. They were in their home, they went to sleep Sunday night, comfortable in their beds, and they woke up and they were floating. Some had to take drastic measures to get them out of their houses. There are some videos I saw where a man's house had been flooded to the chest level and he was holding a baby and trying to get the baby to some people who were on the roof. And I can imagine what he had to go through to get out of the house to that space with a baby. And the baby didn't look more than 3 months. That is terrible. And then there was also the situation of a young man who said he had lost his wife, who had just given birth. The flood just carried her away. There was also another story of a woman who said 4 of her children had gone missing. These are the stories we woke up to on Monday morning. So it has not been, it's been a heavy week from Monday till now. And we're still dealing with it. Bodies are still being recovered and being found. Bodies are washing up to our shores. And so far you said 30.
34.
34. I don't have much. I think we'll find more bodies.
In fact, the NAPO have told us that they think
yes,
will be more.
There'll be more bodies. So we are not in normal times, and it's really, really terrible. You did ask whether I found the government's response adequate. Adequate, no. But there have been actions and inactions that I think the government could have done better. The first of it is why our president decided to fly around. And that is the only thing he has done for me, visibly. There's nothing wrong with flying around. But after you have flown around, you should get on the ground. Why hasn't he stepped out to meet anybody? The families, we are all in Accra. This thing happened in Accra. He's in Accra. I haven't heard he's traveled. He's here. He hasn't bothered to see any of the grieving families. He hasn't bothered to visit any of the areas. Nothing. And then the next day we find him wearing white with Madam Lodina and the vice president waving white handkerchief, praising and celebrating. So the question he asks is, what are they celebrating? What exactly are they celebrating?
Is it fair to describe it as a celebration or a national
If you have planned a national Thanksgiving service and a disaster has happened a day before the national Thanksgiving service, we cannot postpone it. We can't do that. August 8th will be exactly a year. We also woke up to another disaster. A helicopter had crashed with our ministers in it, with Air Force men. This whole nation went on a closure. All of us decided to mourn the people who had died in the August 8th helicopter crash. All of us, everybody, businesses closed down. Are we trying to say that that was more of a national disaster than all of us waking up one morning and floods have washed away people? That is not a national disaster. We can go ahead and have a Thanksgiving service. We cannot hold it off. The Thanksgiving service was an emergency service. The Thanksgiving service was of such priority that we had to see our president and his vice president and his wife and government appointees in white. 30 people are dead. And that day they were doing the national Thanksgiving service, a teenage girl was pulled out of the Odo River. And the NADMO, what do we call it? The NADMO workers refused to do it because they said they haven't been paid for a year. And we had to take a young man to get into the Odo River to get that body out. And he was also demanding for payment. That was the situation we're in. And our president and his wife were wearing white, celebrating. So we couldn't have put it off. No. We had to do that national Thanksgiving service. That is what I don't get. And up till today, no state of emergency declared. I don't see anything from the government, the citizens who have lost their lives, saying anything to them. Nothing. 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 So that's why I'm coming for. You do not do that. This is a national, the Thanksgiving service was a national event organized by government. Government could have said, I won't do it. I'll postpone it. I have an emergency. The government doesn't look like it's bothered. The president doesn't look like he's bothered at all. Because today is Friday. How many days after the flood? 5 days after the flood. He's still sitting in the Jubilee House. He hasn't stepped out. And then he decides to fly because he doesn't want to get his toes and his shoes and his legs wet. After the flying, he still haven't stepped out. The vice president is also comfortably sitting at her house. She also hasn't stepped out. And expecting her to be a mother. I'm expecting her to actually feel the pain. She doesn't feel it. And this is the presidency we have. So if you come and tell us that you have released 350 million to NADMO, how fast have you released it? Are they going to be jumping through the hoops of bureaucracy just to get this money? We are 4 or 5 days into this flood, post-flood matters. People need help. Has the money already hit NADMO accounts? Can they withdraw? Can they get it? That is what we are looking for. We don't need the announcement. But the announcement should be the money is in NADMO accounts. They have already started procurement. In fact, today, things are going out. That is what we want to hear. You don't come and tell us that you have reconstituted the committee. That committee was set up a year ago. What have they been doing the whole year? And the Meteo people told them, in fact, they told all of us, the Ghana, Meteo, they told all of us that this year's rains were going to be terrible, heavy. You set up this committee, you put a deputy chief of staff as the head, the chairman, to control 2 cabinet ministers. Nothing was done. 4 days after the flood, you come and tell us that you have changed and you have put a military man there. You are making the military man's work difficult because he's coming to inherit a situation that is in a mess. And this is a total mess. The response has been a mess. So I don't see anything good that they have done. I am still asking, and I'm still wondering how our president and his vice have not stepped out of the Jubilee House to go. They are right here in Accra. The people are not in Bolga. They are here. They haven't stepped out to any of the areas. None of them. We are celebrating. We are wearing white. That's what we are doing.
To the extent that we have seen our presidents, at least from the 60s, step out and solidarize with the people and the problems still occurring. And that's my question to you, Elena.
So because the president hasn't stepped out, the problems will not occur. So he's staying indoors. He's staying in the Jubilee House. The problem is solved.
No, that's not what I'm saying. If I can ask my question. Right. I'm saying that should we not be looking out for sustainable solutions that prevent that from happening? That's against wanting to see our leaders moving around like you're asking, which we've seen them doing all over the period, but the problem still happens.
I've been asking. So because from the 60s, when the president stepped out, nothing gets done in your estimation. So our president, our current one, should stay indoors. And he's staying indoors. Of what benefit hasn't been to us? The management is still terrible. The optics are bad. If you're a president who says you care, like he says he cares, he should step out. You don't stay indoors. So don't ask me that the other presidents since the 60s have been stepping out and the problem is still there. So our current president should stay indoors like he's an Amaria.
No, that wasn't
4 days after the problem. 4 or 5 days after the problem. And you're asking me how that solves the problem.
Whether we would prefer solutions that will...
What solution have they preferred in the past 4 days? What has it done? Apart from announcing to us that NADMO is getting money. And where is the money?
Okay. Let me come to you as well, Ebo. I don't know where you stand on this subject matter of the flooding situation and what the government has been doing in terms of the response so far. Eleni believes that the optics are not looking good. She's not impressed with the government's response as well. You share that position?
Yeah, probably we appreciate optics in this country. So politicians also know how to offer it. Something happens, you see them giving speeches, you see them appearing on the scene, and nothing is done. And that it has become part of the game. So politicians, when something happens, they will begin to show emotions. That's when they begin to care, if you like, quote and unquote, care for the people. But when they are in power, and they are dipping their fingers and their hands and their nose into our coffers to loot our resources for themselves and their families, they don't care about the people. They don't care about them. It's only when the people get problems that they go and pretend they care. So it's not about the optics. Ghana is 69 years. I've done some mathematics here. 69 minus 35 is equal to 34, which means 2 political parties have had 35 years out of the 69. And so if you have this problem, and what we are seeing is blame game between these 2 political parties, then we have a problem as a country. And that is worrying. But this is my first time talking about this issue because since Monday, I've not gone to any television or radio stations to talk about this. And I've been following the conversation. Unfortunately, how it has been politicized, it shows how insensitive some people can be. People have lost their investment, lifetime investments. People have lost their family members. People have lost their property. I mean, life from Monday to today, life has become unbearable for a lot of people. People have lost their jobs. And all that politicians are doing after 35 years, sharing power alternatively, is to play the blame game, usual blame game, and be giving us the optics. You see, yesterday's solution is supposed to solve today's problem. And today's solution is supposed to solve tomorrow's problem. So if somebody had been there before, and you are still having this problem, the question is, what kind of solution did you provide yesterday that today we are having this problem? That is why I don't expect any of the 2 political parties to play politics with this. We are sick and tired of this blame game. Whatever they did to solve this problem in the past, the result is what we have. Whatever was done since the beginning of Ghana, we've been exposed. Except that, you see, we've been having low, if you like, level of rainfall over the years. This big one has exposed. Anytime you have big one, we get exposed. Anyone who has ever eaten a CD from monies that were meant to solve some of this problem, they must bow their heads in shame. Any politician who has eaten money or chopped money that was meant to solve problems like this should bow their heads in shame. Sick and tired of politicians giving us speeches and optics. Sick and tired. You see, the relief is necessary, but prevention is cheaper, is always cheaper. Prevention is always cheaper. We have institutions that are supposed to help us to solve problems. We have engineers in this country. We have politicians in this country. Before somebody will buy a land to build, the person would have to go to Lands Commission. EPA must come in. Assembly, the building inspectorate of the assembly must come in. So if you see a building along waterway or in a waterway. The question is, how did it get there? Who are those who are in charge, who are supposed to prevent it from being there? They allow people to spend so much to put up these burdens. And after that, we go and break them. And the worst is even after we've broken them, we brought them down, we go away, forgetting that the problem is not a burden. The problem was the failing that was done before the burden. The failing that was done for them to have space to put the burden on, the foundation. We don't excavate the foundation. We don't dig a hole. We leave it. We don't restore the place to its original state. We leave it, thinking that by bringing down the burden, we've solved the problem. So in fact, we've brought so many burdens down. Go to all those retention ponds. The problem is still there. You spend money to do storm drains, only for the water to tell us that your storm drains are not enough. They don't have the capacity to contain us. So we need proper re-engineering in this country. Our engineers were trained to solve problems, not to explain problems. We want to see our engineers, hydro engineers, civil engineers. We need to see, they should see, this morning, honestly speaking, it shouldn't have been the time for politicians like us. It should have been the time for the engineers to come and tell us how to solve this problem. Because most often the time, you put the politicians ahead to solve our problems, and we end up getting more problems. This morning, we should have had engineers on this table to tell us the way forward. How do we solve this problem? Not politicians who will be playing politics, playing the usual political football because I want to have an advantage. Because people have died, people have lost investment. So let me take advantage of it. Show empathy and sympathy, artificial, fake empathy and sympathy. It won't take us anywhere. Storm drains. We need storm drains. Proper ones. You see, I'm from Cape Coast. I lived my life from when I was born to secondary school level. It's only when I came to Legon and came to stay in Accra, went back and came back. I had never seen flood in Cape Coast. I had never seen flood. So when I heard there was a flood in Cape Coast, UCC, all the places, I said to myself, this year rain is going to cause serious havoc. Because for Cape Coast to flood like the way it did, lo and behold, Accra, we had our situation in Accra. So, issue of deserting, creating, you see, naturally we have retention ponds. Nature has given us retention ponds. I think it's about time we also create retention ponds in this country. Ponds, we need them so that they can contain the water. I'm told we have this, the lawyers will tell me, we have laws in this country that say that if you are building a house, the compound should not be paved or should not be covered or something like that. You have to leave 50% of the compound uncovered, so that when it rains, the rain can permeate or penetrate the soil into the ground. But because most of the houses, they are either tiled or they put concrete on it, the moment it rains straight, who is in charge? Who is to make sure that that burden, whatever regulation or whatever is adhered to? Who is in charge of that? Engineers. We send you, some of you have even gotten scholarships to go and stay in engineering. Please, your duty is to solve problems, not to explain problems to our politicians. We give you our power, our resources, everything, so that you lead us well, so that you help us prevent some of these things from happening. Please, if you look at the cases that have come up, the corruption cases that have come up, the amount of money involved, and the way we have wasted money in this country, and the fact that you went to the World Bank to take 350 million to come and solve this problem. Are we a serious people? You went to the World Bank to take a loan of $350 million to come and solve this problem. When you yourself, you've wasted money in this country. You could waste $97 million to create a hole. Then you go to the World Bank to take $350 million. Are we all right? Look at the money involved. The money you've wasted in this country. The money people have looted in this country. And after that, when these things come, instead of them to even provide alternative solutions, they'll be playing games with us. Politics as usual. I think Ghanaians have not been angry enough towards politicians. And I believe that moving forward, if politicians don't take care, they will live to regret it.
Let me come to Mr. Jantua now. And in the course of this whole discussion on flooding, there's one agency that I'm sure a lot of you will be surprised it even exists. It's called the Ghana Hydrological Authority. It was set up in 2022 when Parliament passed the Ghana Hydrological Authority Act 2022. The Act number is 1085, Act 1085. The long title of the law is an act to establish the Ghana Hydrological Authority to regulate the delivery of hydrological services for planning, design, execution, operation, and maintenance of flood control mechanisms, works related to coastal engineering, sewage, drainage improvement, river development, operational and applied hydrology, and to provide for related matters. In fact, when you go to the objects, one of the objects is under Section 2 of the law, flood control mechanisms. Basically, that's what they exist to do. They exist to promote and regulate flood control mechanisms, coastal engineering and drainage improvements and all of that. So I was curious about whether it's actually been set up. Yes, it's been set up. They actually have, there's a website that's available. If you go online, you see it. There's a whole management team. There's a CEO. They are deputy directors. I see engineers all over splashed on it. I mean, in all of this, I've not seen or heard from them with regards to what is being done exactly. But I mean, Senior, once again, we have very good laws. We set up all the nice institutions, but we keep getting the same results over the period.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Akable, listening to all my panel members, I'm not Thomaso. I'm not Thomaso. And you know why? When you see the force of water coming at you, the force of water breaking your door, and you standing trying to hold the door so that the water doesn't come in, but the water forces to come in, you ask yourself, who is here to help Ghanaians? On Monday morning, around 9 o'clock, when the force of water was coming, it had reached window level, and it was coming, and it broke my porch door. And there I was standing, trying to hold it so that water wouldn't seep through. It wouldn't even give me the chance. It was like an armed robber coming to your house and forcing to want to break your door and come in. That experience, nobody should go through it. Nobody should go through that experience. The force of water and the anger of water is something nobody should go through. And then the water starts coming in, and then you're helpless. You can do absolutely nothing. And you see the water now getting into your rooms. And then it settles, and you see the level. And all you can do is wade through. All you can do is wade through. You cannot collect, you cannot talk to it, you cannot, but it settles. It's an experience nobody should go through. And if you haven't gone through it, you would not understand its intensity and its impact. It took me 7 hours to clear the water out of my sitting room. Bedroom hadn't. When we finally cleared everything, the silt and the mud. And the silt and the mud you saw on the tiles, but in the doors, the nitty-gritties in the doors, in the corners, the sockets, electricity, man, nobody should go through it. You need to be strong to be able to withstand the impact of that. And AB was talking about structural causes. Do we not know in Accra the land is flat? Do we not know? And if it's flat, that means it's below sea level, isn't it so? There are countries that are below sea level. They've done something about it. They have done something about it. What about us? What about us? Look, I don't want a situation where we feel this thing is a political situation. No. It's not a political situation. It's a national issue that needs collective decisions. Collective decisions together. Not a political party in power, but together. Because in this Fourth Republic, don't even let me use the Fourth Republic. In this tenure of democracy, from Kwame Nkrumah's time till today, we've been flooding. True? For the last 66 years, we've been flooding. What have we done about it? Come and go, come and go. And what I was expecting, I wasn't expecting throwing money behind the situation. I was expecting the question to be asked, what is the plan of recovery? How do we recover from this? I haven't heard it. I have not heard what is the plan of recovery. Me, I have said, President Mahama should be ruthless. He should be ruthless. All those who have been given the responsibility to make sure that waterways are not blocked, to make sure that gutters, everything is in place, and they haven't done their work, give them their marching orders. Give them their marching orders. And it doesn't care whether it's a big man, whether it's a small man, whether it's a rich man, if they have built a property in a way that would stop water, rainy season, anything that would distract the flow of water in this country, break it down and take them to court. And if they have to go to prison, they go to prison. And unfortunately, the laws we have are not working. They need to be enforced. And the president can use the laws to challenge anybody who is doing that kind of thing. And we've got to use the laws. We've got to put the partisanship thing aside. President Akufo, do you not experience flooding? President Akufo Addo, do you not experience flooding? President Mahama, has he not experienced flooding? President Rawlings, do you not experience flooding? President Mills, do you not experience flooding? What are the existing presidents who are still alive doing about this? Ghanaians need to see unity in a national situation like this. Unity. And that unity starts from the top. It doesn't start from the bottom. It starts from the top. And I expect Comrade President Mahama to call those people who handle this country in terms of decision making, in terms of those we go to when there are challenges to solve problems. Come, sit, let's solve this problem once and for all. Let's solve this problem once and for all. And if it calls, and you think because of partisanship, you will not come and sit around the table, then we know who is for this country and who isn't for this country. We cannot go through this particular situation again. What happened June 4th? It was June 4th, right?
June 3.
June 3.
Yeah.
What happened? Have we learned from it? Can you imagine if ECG did not turn the lights off? Can you imagine this particular disaster with fire? And when the water was coming into my house, and it was coming, you know one thing that came to mind? I asked myself, hey, so if unfortunately during this storm we have an earthquake, what happens? What happens? And this is where we should be able to look at flooding, to look at earthquake situation, and start educating Ghanaians as to what should be done when we are faced with it. It doesn't look as if we are doing that. Now, I'm going to talk about a pertinent issue that happened years ago, which is affecting us today. You're a Ghan, are you?
No.
Who is Ghan around the table?
No, sure.
Huh?
You speak your Ghan.
I want to ask the question.
If you speak, I'll be lost too.
I want to ask the question. Maybe Amma will be able to tell me. Why did the Ghan's name Jolu Jolu?
That is a big river.
What is the meaning of Jolu?
Big river.
A big cup.
Huge.
Huge.
Container.
That does what? Contains water. They named it for a particular reason. They named it because at the time, we were getting water from where? A brick coming in. And there were areas where the water settled, right? Where were these areas? Shiashi. Around President Kufuor's house. And around where? Those tall buildings. And those were areas that did what? Took the water from the mountains in. What have we done to those areas? President Kufuor's house used to flood. President Kufuor's house used to flood. What have we done to those areas? Have we not sold those areas and filled it and built houses? All those years, who did we sell it to? Who did we sell it to? Wasn't it Strakoni? Did we sell it to him?
In fact, he's been tweeting and explaining
and
the engineering he says they did around that place.
What kind of engineering? Let me tell you the effect today. When the water now comes from a brick, and because we have cut most of the trees down in that area, the water isn't held by vegetation there anymore. So you're getting more water coming in. When the water now hits that area, you know where it goes to? You know where it diverts to? Shangri-La. And that entire area gets flooded and creates mayhem on the road. Are we saying that some people are above the law in this country? Something that affects everybody. Are we saying that? Because that water that will come from the Ebri, it would hit Nima, Alajo, those areas, get into the Odo, straight into the sea. So we sit and we blame, and we clap, and we cry, and we do X, Y, Z. Whose responsibility is it? Local government, have they worked? Don't stop me. Local government, have they worked? District assemblies AB was referring to, are they working? Or is it that they are starved with money? The finances aren't there. Is that what it is? Because, Akable, something has to change. Our children's children cannot go through this. Something has to change. This should be the stepping stone for us to say, no more. We are not going through this anymore. Let me go to the 350,000 that has been given.
50 million cedis.
50 million have been given. What's the duty of that money? The duty of that money is aimed at providing immediate assistance to victims, 1. 2, investing in measures to reduce the impact of future flooding. 200 million has been earmarked for emergency humanitarian assistance to flood victims and affected communities. 150 million has been allocated for flood mitigation projects designed to reduce the frequency and severity of flooding across vulnerable communities. Who is responsible to make sure that this happens? How are we going to disburse the money? Because what I don't want to hear, 6 months down the line, we are setting up a commission to investigate the 350 million because it wasn't used well. I don't want to hear that. I do not want to hear that. And if the president, in his wisdom, has put 350 million up front, what's the plan next? But let me also ask, we are all equal in this country, aren't we? Aren't we all equal in this country? What happened in 2023? What happened in 2023? Was there not an Akosombo spillage? Weren't people flooded out? Have we paid them? Have we found money for them? Yes, we found money for Accra quickly. What about the Akosombo spillage victims? What's happening to them? Are they not part and parcel of this country? So I thought, when I heard the president say that, I thought it would encompass all flood victims at least, because they have suffered also. So I would suggest to the president and Minister of Finance, if you've been able to do this, please, please, try as much as possible to satisfy the Akosombo spillage victims, because they have also suffered and they are also Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seen
any reactions?
Yes. Destructive politics. I think that Ghanaians are not rather angry enough at destructive politics and not politicians. Once politics is there, politicians will be there. But destructive politicians, Ghanaians are not angry against destructive politicians. Why am I saying this? The president, in his attempt to access and view the extent of damage, went on a helicopter ride. How else could you have assessed the damage in the city, caused the city? You have to go on a helicopter ride to see the damage. Do we know whether that didn't inform the amount of money voted for the damage for the NADMO? Probably the finance minister will say, I want to give 150 million. Then the president will say, no. What I saw flying over Accra, let's do it 350 million. How else? But when a person is hit by this type of calamity, the person is not looking for you to come around visiting him. In fact, when you come around visiting him, you are rather looking at his nakedness. The person wants you to provide relief items, relief to his pain. And immediately the president landed on the ground, didn't he vote this money for the people to get some relief? When Akufo Addo, similar issues happened, Akufo Addo went out, gamboling and gallivanting around, and hopping like a grasshopper.
Have you seen that? I mean, those descriptions.
No.
I mean, they don't add anything.
When they said that President Mahama was sleeping in the room like an Amaria, I didn't see you react.
Okay.
So continue to have your peace.
I have my peace, but
keep quiet.
Senior, I'm coming. Senior,
when I started this program,
I'm coming.
Did you see my submission?
I heard you.
Devoid of politics.
I heard you. I mean, but
when I started, and there's nobody who is political than me. But on this occasion, I started to be nationalistic.
I appreciate that. Let me just make a little point. Let me just make a little point so that you go. And I mean, I think, if things have slipped through, that's fine. It's fair that you raise that concern. But I would just ask that, subsequently, like how we do every Friday, you have the chance to make your points. Let's just keep it as tidy as we can, respectfully. You can go ahead, Senior.
Because when you hail insults, we can all insult. And for insults, nobody learn them. You listen and you also take them and start insulting. You know?
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Oh, no. Me, I've told you this, my policy on this program is you do me, I do you. But you normally see that I don't start. Have you noticed that everything about me, I don't start wrongdoing? It is, I reply, but I also understand, I agree. When I'm replying, it's too heavy that they even forget what they did to me. I know. For that one, I know. Now, in the past, when such visits were done, didn't we hear them say that Odona will be turned into a tourist attraction? Where are we today? But is it not curious also for Ghanaians to begin to ask questions that a year after we discovered huge sums of money under the bed of the sanitation minister, we are being visited by floods? Was that money meant to deal with the problem? I'm asking questions. I'm asking questions. This was not money found under the bed of the Minister of Education or the Minister of Tourism, the Sanitation Minister. It's public knowledge. The question is, can that be linked to money that was meant for the project? Because Ebo was talking about corruption. I don't know. But who says that you only give thanks and praises when times are good? Here is me reading the Bible. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18 states, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ's name. What is this verse trying to say? The verse encourages believers to maintain an attitude of gratitude, trusting God's overarching goodness and presence even during difficult times, rather than only when life is easy. Only when life is easy. So, has the president assessed the situation? Yes. Has the president voted money? Yes. There's nothing wrong if this thanksgiving goes on. Because the Bible tells us you don't only give thanks to God when life is easy, but even in times of difficulty.
Okay. Ellen, any reaction to an issue?
Madam Cecilia, the past matter has been settled in this country. We put her through vigorous exercise to prove whether she's guilty. According to the OSP, she has been able to prove where the money comes from. If anybody in government thinks that her money is linked to flood money, it is your responsibility as the government who thinks that her money is your money that she has stolen to send her to court and get your money. You do not go around and make noise about it, that when there's a flood, then you go and blame a former minister in the previous administration whose money she has been able to explain, and she's taking her money back. So if you think that she's done something wrong, I'll be a lawyer. Get the Attorney General to send her to court. You do not wait for a flood to hit, such a devastating flood to hit, and then you come and mention Madam Cecilia Addapa's name. I find it very, very disingenuous and lazy on the part of anybody in this government to open their mouth and say that Madam Cecilia Dapa has taken your flood money. If I were her, I would sue you. Because we have all put her through what she's gone through, and she's been able to prove that the money is hers. The OSP said the money is hers. He's returned her money to her. Until you do that, you don't go around saying that. Auntie Sisi would forgive you. If it were me, Ellen, I'll sue you. Because this is defamation of character. That's one. Number two, well, if you decide that your people are in trouble, problems have hit them, sudden problems, a flood, people have been killed, people have lost their property, and you decide to wear white and go and throw a handkerchief and celebrate. After throwing the handkerchief and celebrating, you decide to stay indoors and not step out. And at least go see those people. And we are saying it, we are complaining about it, and you are telling us that it is right and it is good. Ghanaians are watching. And the Ghanaians who are complaining, and we did tell them that President Mahama does not really care about them. His agenda was to get his second term, which he has gotten. Anything else, I see him as somebody who thinks that I'm just waiting for my 2 years to be over and I'm gone. Anything that will get his hands dirty, anything that will get him tired, anything, he is not prepared to do it. And it is showing. It's not just him, it has descended to his appointees. And that is what we are seeing. Yes, so you flew around Accra. Yes, so you've had your Thanksgiving. What stops you from at least stepping out and letting the people see you? Yes, it will not change the circumstance because something has happened, but at least it gives them the benefit. When we went through COVID, and President Akufo Addo showed up with the updates, showed up with what we are going to do, at least it gave us a sense of look, this thing we are trying to solve it. Our leader is involved. You might not like him, you might not agree with him, but that thing he did kept us through those times. So President Mahama decides that he wants to stay indoors. That's his choice, and it's up to the rest of us to bring it out. I would still want to commiserate with the people who have lost things. Look, we can speak, we can talk, we can shout, we can do whatever we want to do. People have lost their family members. We are still discovering bodies. People have lost property. At least there's a victim here. And when he tells you his experience he went through, we do not want that again. So this whole committee that they put in place, we've had a military man. Are we still keeping the old members of the other committee, or they've reconstituted it? And in all this, you're on the part of the politicians. What about our civil servants? I have said this and I'll repeat it again. Politicians, maximum 8 years. Politicians, maximum 8 years. They move on and other politicians take over. We have civil servants who have been around, some from their early 20s, and they are going to be around till they hit 60 years. You mentioned an agency.
Hydrological Authority.
It's supposed to be filled with civil servants, engineers, people who have the professions. What have they done since they were set up? It's been now 2022 till now. That's about 4 years. And how are we linking the linkages between these agencies, NADMO, whichever, the military? What is the linkages? So right now they are there. Money has been voted for them. It's an agency. We pay their salaries. What exactly are they doing? How are they involved in this mix? Or they are just there. They are doing their thing. Because it's the Ghana Hydrological Authority. They are supposed to be in charge of everything water, everything flood. And if you hadn't mentioned it, I never knew there was an agency like that. What are they also doing? So as much as you're pulling the politicians, as much as yes, we'll do our politics, we should still ask our civil servants, our public servants, who we pay and we take care of, that what are they also doing? Because I believe that all of us coming together with what will solve this problem. The water is still going to come down. The Ghana Meteo says that we still have more water ahead. Going forward, what are we doing? Or we are just sitting just like that for the emergency to come and hit us again. What are we doing? Are we desilting at what? I mean, we need to know what we are doing. That is one. Number two, what are we also doing in educating our people about the effects of these floods? You know, the FDA have just come out to tell us that some of the products and items that have been affected by flood water is being put back on the market again. Are we educating our people on what to do? I would suggest that perhaps we should all go back to our COVID protocols, where we washed our hands, we made sure that we had our sanitizers around and all that. And I'll plead with the Ministry of Education. I know that they have the educational calendar. If these rains are still going to come down, as Ghana Meteo says they are going to come down, can we go on a little vacation with our young people, especially those in the basic schools, so that they don't have to also go through the processes of going to school? Because on Monday, some of the victims of these floods were children who were on their way to school. A lot of us had to stop our children from going to school. There were school buses. I mean, there was a rumor that the school bus, you know, all those things. If it's possible, can we also look at maybe pulling the vacation time a bit forward? And let's look at all those things. Mitigation the oncoming floods, because we know that they are going to come. What are the processes? We need to get into that. Otherwise, we'll go back and come here again if we are alive and we haven't been swept away by the floods, and we'll come back to discuss this matter again. What are we doing moving forward? The next immediate steps, what are they?
Mr. Danso, any reaction? Or if not, I have a question for you. Your reaction first, go on.
Are we prepared to vote money to build the kind of storm drains that can collect water? Are we prepared? Why? Go back and look at what Japan did when Japan used to flood Osaka. Most of the cities there used to flood. Go see what they did. They built underground drainage and tied it to those flood areas. And so when it floods, water is just sucked in. And that water that is sucked in, they even reprocess it. I'm not saying areas in Japan don't get flooded, but most of those areas have been saved by what they did. Are we prepared to do that? The only way we can be prepared to do that is if we plan. I am saying, and unfortunately, we did not do exploration to production in the oil industry for 8 years. So revenue that came in was limited. If our offshore basin, look at the map of the offshore basin and see the number of acreages that are empty, right from where we are producing, all through the different areas, Accra Basin, Sopon Basin, Keta Basin, all those areas, it's free.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.